Pope St. John Paul talked about the culture of death. Pope Francis spoke of a culture of indifference. Eucharist then cries out from the womb to tomb human dignity. Abortion, death penalty, euthanasia, etc. are virtual challenge to Eucharist today. Our adoration of Eucharist affirms our unalienable faith in human dignity. Governments and others need to appreciate our faith vision. So millions of Catholics attend Mass, adore the sacrament. As we gather, not only the bread on the altar becomes the body of Christ. Each one of us is joined with our brothers and sisters as one body. We, though many, are one body. Corinthians. This great awareness brings us to the first great task, Eucharist and mission. From Eucharistic celebration to Eucharistic commitment, mission. Adoration alone may make us good devotees, but being a devotee is one of the easiest things. A devotion, Santo Niño, Santo Niño, devotion que Jesus Nazareno. It is good, but not enough. Christ is calling us to be disciples, to carry his cross. The Mass of the devotee ends in an hour, but the Mass of the disciple is unending. The Eucharist of the devotee is confined to the clean, decorated altars of the church. The Eucharist of the disciple continues with the streets as altar. Christ died in the street. Drag on the streets. Proclaim his good news on the streets. Affirm the human dignity in the streets. His altar was the world. He broke the bread of healing. He broke the bread of feeding. He broke the bread of reconciling. He broke the bread of good news. His disciples carried this task. The very act of Eucharistic assembly was revolutionary in the Acts of the Apostles. The first disciples were martyred for the act of coming together and breaking the bread. John Paul said, "It is the impulse which the Eucharist gives to the community for a practical commitment to building a more just and fraternal society." Pope Benedict in the Sacramentum Caritatis 2007 says, "Personal encounter with the Lord occurs in the Eucharist." And this is precisely the personal encounter with the Lord that strengthens the mission contained in the Eucharist. That brings us to the next important role of the Eucharist. Eucharist and the poor.